Welcome back, everyone, to Raised by Spoilers. I'm one of your hosts, Geek Movie House. Joining me,
konnichiwa, motherfucker.
Oh, hit the Instant Noodles theme song as we go back into another
It's been too long.
wonderful anime. Joining us tonight, the usual suspects, everybody's goth mommy, the feminist warlord herself, Nintendo Geek.
Ninja Girl.
Ninja Girl.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
That was
that?
I thought that was the kawaii sound that we had from.
the Buckaroo Banzai.
It was. I thought it was the kawaii thing for the or whatever from
Happy.
from
Happy.
yeah from Instant Noodles.
Is it not the blue one?
I don't think so.
Nope, that's the end of the
Okay.
show. Ladies and gentlemen, as the dumpster rolls down the hill like a normal production, on the other side of the table, the man who practically hates everything, host of the Just Saying podcast, the unannounced Dragon Ball Z show.
Oh my God, there's so many off-color jokes I could make right now, given the recentness of Dragon Ball Z.
That is true. I actually wanted to bring that into you.
All right.
Plebeian Adam. Ooh, into the microphone, Adam. Friends, ladies, gentlemen, and other popular pronouns, before we start tonight, I would just like to bring some attention. I am going to butcher every single name that I'm about to read in all of these Wikipedias, IMDb pages, and other weeaboo shit websites. Tonight's episode, Ninja Scroll, or in Japanese, Hepburnt, Jubi Nippakura, or Jubi Ninja Chronicles, is a Japanese 1993 animated film directed by Yoshikari Kawairagi. Can I get another one? Can I get another
pass at this?
Can I get another pass?
Kawajiri
Kawabunga.
Yoshiaki.
I am so sorry if I offend or if I get any of your names wrong. Go for it.
You got it?
Do you got it?
No.
Do you got it?
You got it.
I don't got it. Ninja Scrolls, starring some actors from Japan. The film was co-produced by JVC and Toho and Movic, with Madhouse serving as the animation studio. Ninja Scrolls was thematically released in Japan on June 5th, 1993. Adam, I will throw it to you, the resident weeb. Please.
To go over the basics?
Give us the stats.
I mean, we did watch the English dub of the movie.
Well, you know how we know that? Because subs are always on the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, I hated this movie, but we'll get into that later.
Released in Japan on June 5th, 1993. The movie is 94 minutes in its original release. The numbers for how much it sold exactly in Japan are not fully known because this was kind of before the time. However, in its first release in North America, it sold 70,000 copies.
Wow.
Wow. VHSs, right?
Probably. The DVDs didn't come out till 2000, so it would have been VHSs.
This is a skewed number because obviously there is the world-renowned under-the-table collection of bootleg VHSs from anime and comic conventions across everywhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is just hard to track numbers.
That's the problem is that that's why they just say 70,000. It's
a lot. We don't know what's out there, but
they
they're
don't
out
have
there.
a specific number.
Very cool.
It sold a lot more since its re-releases in DVD format, which I might even have a copy of it somewhere on that shelf there.
A copy of that.
Maybe. I don't know if I do. Yeah. Oh well. It was
Not the end of the world.
not the end of the world. It was directed and written by, as you mentioned, Yoshiaki Kawajiri, and animated. I do. I have the DVD.
Give me that copy.
Why didn't we watch the DVD?
We did. It was beautiful. This is the manga essentials
Which
of
is
anime.
The original release of it after VHS. So that was released in the year 2000 by a company that is defunct now, as far as I'm aware, just Manga Productions.
Hold up. We're having fun with this now
Yeah.
because I didn't know you had a physical one of those. Curious fantastic, mischievous, unpredictable, wayward,
Wayward.
Ninja Scrolls manga video.
Yeah, now we're just sitting here looking at the.
I love it.
Sorry, he didn't
Case.
say he had this.
So that is known as the silver case. It's sort of one of the original creations.
Perfect.
So to be clear, do you know how old I was in the year 2000?
25.
13.
Close.
Okay.
12.
Trick
12.
question. See, he lied.
Yeah. So I watched this movie when I was, I think, 13 or 14.
Okay.
So not long after it came out. It was in Blockbuster.
This very much strikes me as a Blockbuster movie.
Oh, yeah.
This strikes me as a DVD, right? Not a VHS copy?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And it was one of those movies that your parents didn't know how bad it was when I was allowed to rent it. Because the local Blockbuster was, bike distance, so I'd bike there.
Love that.
Get what I want, and the people at the store didn't. Oh, it's a cartoon. It was one of those
Are you
scenarios.
telling me the people at the local Blockbuster didn't bother to watch Ninja Scrolls? Do you think they didn't have a fucking clue on what is this?
It
I don't
does say
fucking know. Give it to them.
Very, very small, 18A.
Oh, I love that font.
Like, very
Tiny.
tiny next to the 94 minutes.
Yes. So speaking of the 18A, in 1997, after it screened on SBS, former Attorney General Philip Ruddock had to appeal the film's original classification and successfully had the classification upgraded to an R18+.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
Yeah.
Make it harder to get.
So it was a big deal where it also originally broadcast on midnights on Teletoon.
That's weird, but okay.
Yeah, right next to Macross, things like that.
What?
Yeah, you know what Macross is.
I know, like, Cyber 6.
Adam, I'm about to go on a rant about how we need to gatekeep more anime. I think there needs to be more paywalls for these Funimation accounts, and we need to make it more difficult for these people to enjoy the thing they enjoy. Adam, before we get further into the stats real quick and the history and how this show was, or this movie was banned or unbanned or like stolen on a pirate ship, you picked this film.
I did.
You love this film.
No.
Adam, in the tradition of the show, before we really break down and all of the history and stuff, what's your right off the fucking hip before we get into like all of it?
Yeah.
You haven't seen. When was the last time you watched this movie?
Probably late 2000s, so 2017, 2016.
Okay, so about 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. I'd say is probably the last time I've seen it.
Okay.
Maybe, but I don't really remember that viewing all that much. I must have, I don't know.
You put it on and you're like, I'm gonna watch it, and then you just something
Fell
happened.
asleep.
Yeah, and I think that matches because honestly, it's not the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's really not.
Okay.
It's out of all the anime that we've had in our lifetimes nowadays, it's not great.
Okay. Nintendo Geek, you consume an unhealthy amount of anime.
Oh my God, I have a Crunchyroll subscription.
That's exactly where I was going to put you in the category. Unhealthy amount of anime.
Would I pay for anime?
You pay for anime. Gross. There's two things there's two things you shouldn't pay for, and one of them's anime.
I mean, I don't own much. As I look at this like wall of Dragon Ball Z behind me.
Hey now. What was your initial takeaway with Ninja Scroll?
I mean,
You watch a lot of it. That's the only reason why.
thanks.
Like an ungodly amount.
Yeah. Okay. It definitely falls into that category of like the older anime, 100%.
Okay.
Like kind of the same art style as like Vampire Hunter D, like very angular faces,
A lot of triangles in this movie.
very detailed backgrounds, which I find you kind of get away from nowadays, where it's more like digital backgrounds and all that. So it's really nice to see like nice hand drawn
Hands.
Fuck
AI art. Keep going.
and clawed hands, bark hands, shadow hands, all the hands.
Big
Hands
fan.
cut off.
Big fan of hands.
Luke Skywalker hands.
Big fan of hands.
No, it was it had some questionable parts,
Sure.
obviously. To the
All
rating.
anime does.
Yeah. But I can
All of it.
see why it did well back then, because considering what other anime was coming over, or like you said, what people could bootleg, it was pretty like high quality. Other than some of the English dubbing was not great, but it seemed like everyone was good, except for the main character.
Oh, that is so true.
Like all the villains had great voices. Like all the other sub characters were great, and then this guy, Dean Wine, he just was lacking a little bit more, like, you know, character and emotion. I guess he was very one note sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I told you to stay here, and then it's just that.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of depth to him.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
But
So
I can see why it got popular, especially being one of the early ones to come over and be like wide successfully.
Okay. So with the popularity of this film coming out, inspiring Akira and Ghost in the Shell to make its way over?
Not quite, no.
Okay.
Still, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and this all came over within a very short period of each other.
Okay.
So this was one of the, I call it the 1-2 punch of anime coming to the West, which was you had the highbrow of Ghost in the Shell and Akira, these very philosophical discussions, which were very interesting. So they showed, hey, anime can be intellectually, philosophically deep, right? You can have an ocean in there.
It's not just Speed Racer.
It's not just Speed Racer. And then whereas this one came in with the gut punch of, oh no, but there can be adult content that's not just hentai. There can be adult violence. You have that classic blood everywhere.
Okay.
So if you have, that was the 1-2 punch of, the other two lasted longer because the gut punch of the violence and stuff only can last so, it can only be shocking for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this one kind of had that, it only lasted for so long, but it was important to that gut punch of bringing all the anime to the West.
So let me ask this, and any of you guys can jump in at any point, especially with early anime. Does this echo the quality at the time? Like I said, Astro Boy, Speed Racer.
Well, Astro was way before this.
Yeah, that was like 60s.
Yeah.
Coming to the West. I'm not saying this came out the same time as Astro Boy. I'm saying the amount of shit you could get, whether it was VHS, video store, because at a point you weren't just downloading anime or watching an unhealthy amount of Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Nintendo geek. Quality wise, did this stand out because it was bloody, gory, and there was tits, or did this stand out because it was taking itself seriously? Was this a proper adaptation of source material versus what was also out on the market?
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll take it for a second. So I think art wise and all that fun jazz, it was most certainly above the average quality.
Okay.
Which is what got its attention so importantly. So the animation, the writing, yes, this has some weird writing, but it's still way above what most people were seeing at that time. They were, again, seeing the Speed Racers. We were still just getting over, this was before like Gundam made it to the West.
Would you chalk it up to bad translation versus
Yes,
writing?
absolutely.
Right? Just kind of like getting kind of mixed up in the wash?
Yes, if you watch the subtitles, which we did not do, it is way better.
I'm sorry.
I know. I
couldn't.
That's okay.
I didn't bring my glasses today.
It's okay. No, but like it I think quality wise, like you asked, it is above the cut, which is what made it so famous. I think in comparison to its contemporaries, Akira and Ghost in the Shell, it's not as good as those.
Well, that was the thing. Like
quality wise,
everybody talks about Akira, Ghost in the Shell. I think Paprika was a bigger one around that time. I could be wrong. Listen, I'm just naming spices and stuff at this point.
I think it had to do with the plot as well. Because
Yeah?
like Akira, Ghost in the Shell had a lot more like the sci-fi and the more futuristic, I guess. And just, I think there were longer movies too. They were like close to 2 hours, weren't they?
yeah.
It felt
Akira's
longer.
runtime?
They were about the same. One thing I will point out is, so the animation studio Madhouse that did this, they are a titan even to today.
Really?
In the animation industry. So obviously they made this movie.
Okay.
And both the director and this team made Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Okay.
One of our last episodes.
Give me some highlights.
Yep. They made the original Trigun.
Okay.
They made One Punch Man.
Never heard of it.
They made Paprika.
Okay.
Death Note.
Is that the one with the book?
Yeah, it's the one with the book. Okay. Overlord, Hunter x Hunter, Wicked City, which I do want to watch Wicked City at some point with us.
Sure.
I know I'm just going to make you hate it, but well, whatever.
I'm not going
It's
to
a
hate
you
it.
problem.
I'm going to go in. I'm in. Hunter x Hunter, I have no idea what you're saying, but sure.
I've seen a lot of these.
Yes.
Have you? Where?
They did Mongolian Chop Squad.
Oh, I love
Beck.
Beck. Beck
Yeah.
was great.
Like
What
I
a
said,
great
they
gro-
are.
growing
Oh,
of age story.
Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Ah, that's right. You're
They did
Unhealthy
Perfect
Obsession.
Blue, which is a big one.
Yep.
So they did.
Did you see Perfect Blue?
No, I've never actually seen it.
Yo.
I know it's big. I've never
Perfect
watched
Blue's very good.
Oh.
And the problem with Perfect Blue, if I can segue and interrupt everybody,
Yeah.
Amanda, if you could not click so loudly. Perfect Blue is one of those ones where you watch it and you're like, wait a minute, I've seen this before, because so many other actual Hollywood movies have ripped fucking scenes or like Perfect Blue is like a bunch of short stories.
Yeah, okay.
It's like an anthology film.
So
It's perfect. Go watch Perfect Blue. It's very good.
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. So speaking of anthology, this director also got famous for he did Animatrix. They brought him in for the most famous Animatrix series.
Love the Animatrix, Amanda.
Yeah, last time we watched it was on my birthday a few years ago. We had a pretty long day and kind of fell asleep to it.
You got tattooed, I think.
I got a tattoo. We were in the sun all day. Played Rock Band for a few hours and then fell asleep to Animatrix.
Animatrix, fantastic film.
Wow.
It's a great birthday.
Fantastic.
That is great. So yeah,
So-
that's a, like important notes to I think to discuss the history of this thing. And its director has had a profound impact with Bloodlust, Wicked City. He inspired a lot of the anime that we see today. He has and he basically put Madhouse on the map.
Very cool.
He didn't start Madhouse. He was just one of the directors there. But if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be as big as they are today.
You'll wind up in it, though, if you keep watching anime.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my history kind of notes on it.
Cool.
But we never asked you, what's your basic, like, give me your starting. What's your knee-jerk anime reaction? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I will ask is, was this an OVA?
No.
There was a series.
Second question.
After. Like
Okay.
in 2003, they made a series.
Okay.
But this was the original movie, I'm assuming, based off the manga.
Kind of inspired by the manga.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the director, Yoshiaki, basically originally wanted to do the manga. And then as he was doing it, kind of realized I can't do this.
Well,
There's
it
too
definitely
much.
showed.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even being funny. It definitely
it
showed.
was pretty
It felt
in
like
depth.
No, it was not. It felt like an OVA,
Yeah.
and it felt like I was missing a season.
That's fair.
And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. I was just having more questions about the world and more, what the fuck is going on? As it got weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Because at first, when we get in, it's samurai on a bridge eating rice.
Yep.
With a sword. And then there's a gun, and a guy jumps out of a fucking scarecrow costume. And then I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little slow, a little daunting, a little long in the tooth, but it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be great to look at.
Yep.
Right? We are watching Inuyasha from start to finish again, or from the beginning. It's my first viewing. I've seen a lot of inspiration in Inuyasha in this.
That's
Enemies, the demons, the combat style, even the backgrounds and stuff. It feels
Yes.
like a lot of it was even reused, which is not.
fair. Interesting.
I mean, a forest is a forest, right? Why we can just
Well, they're
cellulite
both
over
based in that feudal Japan era.
it, right?
It's a
But
very famous period.
as soon as it starts to go with like monsters and shit or demons,
Yeah.
I am like fucking lost, because there is so much like. There was that guy, we had that big fight, and then I lost him. And then if he ever shows his face again, and then like the next scene, he shows
shows
his
up.
face again. And I'm like, this is an OVA. This is like cut together as an OVA where they're like, fuck, we need this just to work as a story. And there was things that were happening that I didn't know the rules to until the magical shit started happening.
Yeah.
And I get like the poison, and like I get the low level magic, right? The poison tester, the hero with the magic sword. Everybody wants it.
Yep.
And they're all trying to kill him for his sword. And I'm like, okay, dope. Let's go on to this bigger like political intrigue because of these houses. I mean, we're all coming off of Blue Eye Samurai, a little late to the game, but we're all coming off Blue Eye Samurai, and that was
Shogun.
the Shogun, but that wasn't a mythical story as much as it was the folklore and the legend around this warrior being built up. Oh, she's an Oni.
Yeah.
No, she's not. She's just fucking dresses in blue and kills people with smoke
Yep.
and a sword. And this folklore tale builds around her and all of the things that she does.
Yep.
That's what I thought we were watching.
That makes
For
sense.
the first 10 minutes, I'm like, oh fuck, everybody's gonna try to kill this guy, and he's gonna maybe have a couple wisecracks, and we're gonna kind of smile and look at the camera, and then there's gonna be spurts of blood, and we're gonna balls to the wall it. But then we started getting these like super villains, or like
Well, they're devils.
the devils.
they're diamonds,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, that's really even watching Inuyasha, everybody's a demon.
So
and
if-
there's a demon for everything.
If I hadn't watched Inuyasha or started Inuyasha, I would have been fucking completely lost
Please,
with this.
we're in season 2.
I would have been no, but what I'm saying is because of like, oh that or oh this or this shit, I would have been like, what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. Just because the world doesn't. It's not even the exposition. It just doesn't set up the. Here's what's happening and this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Go
will
for it.
say that halfway through the first little bit, I was like, okay. And then I kind of missed the
No, don't move.
it took me a minute to realize like what the connection was with like the big bad guy and these 8 devils and then the main guy. I'm like, okay, like something had happened. It took a minute for them to like explain
Yeah.
because the plot that I read was very vague. I'm like, oh, there's ninjas and he's going after bad guys. Cool. So I was lost until more of the bad guys started dying, and I'm like, oh, now I can it's more bite sized. I can kind of figure it out. But I was a little lost.
Yeah.
Well, they all want to sleep with each other. They're after something, but we don't know what they're after. And
Well,
it's like,
yeah, until they find the ship, and then you're like,
fuck is going on?
oh, okay. Then it explains it a bit. Like you said, there wasn't a lot of like exposition dumping. Like there was and there wasn't, but it was very.
They spend a lot of time, I think, not giving you the answers. And given this is a new world, a new universe, you don't know much about, you're spent a lot of time going, is this really this Gemma guy? Right? What's the history?
who is Gimmick?
Who is Gemmagon?
Who is Demodon?
Who's Demodon? And what are they after? And you spend so much time just trying to figure out this world that you don't even have time to sit in those questions.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's not a mystery.
It was very fast.
It was very fast, yeah. You don't have time to sit in these questions of who is Gemma, what did he do, and what is he after? Like, why are they, like, they clearly made, I don't want to say they made it clear, because it took me like 3 or 4 viewings of this movie
Right.
to figure out what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on, which is part of my dislike of the movie, is it's too much too fast, and they dub over when people are talking weirdly, and because of the dubs, it's hard to hear them.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, I
that
get
doesn't
that.
add to it. So you get this like story plot that it's really hard to follow because it's fast, loose, and not really well explained.
In a way, and this is gripes to a lot of older anime that is inspired by or taken from the manga, that is a collection of scenes that are faithfully adapted,
Yeah.
shot for shot, but because they don't have the budget or the time, we get great scenes that happen and that are big like hype moments in the
Yeah.
manga that you get to, and then that make no sense. Like the blind man on the back of the box.
Yeah.
He shows up. It's a great fight, and we have no idea what's his name,
Yeah.
why he's there, and why he wants to fight.
Yeah.
I was like, is he a bad guy?
Is
and
he a
there's
devil?
like, no, he's just blind. He's just handicapped. And you're like, okay, but why is this happening then?
Yeah. It's clear. I think it's fairly clear that he's one of the devils, but they don't really give him a lot of time ahead to make it that known and clear. The one thing to note is that there's technically no magic in this entire universe, in this world. None of those people are using magic. They're using techniques.
I guess so, because like the one girl, she just did a lot of like explosions. The one guy just let a bunch of wasps burrow into him, which I guess he could survive.
It's not meant to be logical.
How was the
It's
Shadow Man?
techniques.
How did Shadow Man
Shadow
do
Man
thing?
is a little.
How did
it's a little
Oh, and
magic-y.
regeneration.
how
guy.
did old man? Yeah, he cut his arm.
But
Yeah,
like you joked, the most hardest thing to get your mind around was the telephone system,
the string,
the string.
the fishing line telephone.
Yeah.
From like one part of feudal Japan to the completely other side of the continent. Yeah. I think, I don't know, because that's the problem. As soon as it's like, oh, he's a tree now hiding.
Well, the even
How did he do that so quickly? Like,
the even weirder part, you have to realize. First of all, I have the answer for that.
Okay.
Second of all, the
Wait,
weirder
we're just
part is
gonna
it gets even weirder when you
do this
realize that
whole time.
Gemma.
Don't put that in your mouth.
When
Don't-
Gemma
both
was
of you,
talking
take that
to
out of
him.
your mouth. Oh God. Oh God. It's not spaghetti.
It's when you realize that Gemma was on a boat when he was using that. So like, how the fuck?
It's a
Was he
real.
in a boat?
Because the boat was coming.
Yeah, he was on
Oh
the
my
boat.
For the
God.
gold.
He was on the
I
boat.
thought he was in like a. Oh, the castle was on the boat.
Yeah.
Oh. How?
So like, how?
The more you explain this, the more I don't like it. I hope you know that. This isn't the other way around where we're like, you know what? We did have a good time. Friendship was magic and was the answer. This is like,
No.
that's a giant fucking plot hole. That's a giant fucking plot hole.
So, the old man, his shtick, the belief,
The priest.
based on the priest. Yeah, the government spy.
Government spy priest.
He's a Buddhist government monk who he's a government spy acting as a monk.
Dakuin.
Yes, his shtick is he talks about the regeneration ability that Gemma has,
Yep.
and that it allows you to control your entire body, all the cells. Right.
Right.
Remember, Gemma does a scene where he physically changes into someone else because he
Yeah.
can change all the atoms of his body or whatever. Kind of like if you turned into a tree, isn't it? Or if you're a really old dude, but you're really spry for your age. Oh my lord. It's almost like he has that ability.
Did he?
Do you think he taught him that then?
It's possible. And it's also possible that that's where he gets his revenge. It's hard to know because this is all they really have in the series. And I never watched the TV series or like the series of
You
it.
should look this up.
Yeah.
So do you think
But that's
this
my
is-
assumption.
Okay. Do you think this is the underlying theme is just trying to keep Christianity out of feudal Japan?
No.
Just this bad guy that can regenerate, come back once a year.
No, I don't think so.
Easter is when he
Easter,
takes the
you
boat
just,
and
yeah. He
Takes
comes
all the
back
boat.
and you got to hide the eggs
That's
in
it.
Japan.
That's it.
No, I
They
don't.
love their eggs.
They love their eggs. No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think this is as simple a plot as it comes.
Okay.
That's
Well
straight up.
then, was there any props? No. Special effects? We'll get to the special effects within the scenes because of the animation, because there are different rules for how the show works when it comes to cartoons.
That makes sense.
Adam, speaking of plot, we start with our boy on a
On a bridge.
bridge eating rice, and
Yes.
then everyone wants to kill him. Help me through
Yes.
this.
So-
because this is where I'm lost.
Yeah, all you really need to know is you meet your boy and you find out that he's one of the best swordsmen by non-lethally taking out a bunch of bandits, basically. And you find out that he did a good deed for a very, very small amount of money. So you get very early on who this guy is.
But he's returning the sword. He's on his journey to
Correct.
return the sword.
No. That's just his sword.
I
He
thought
already
they
returned
were-
the sword.
I thought they were going to pay him 20 gold
Yeah.
to return the sword. That was the journey of, like, that was the motion of this movie. Him continuing to, like, travel, and his thing was like, yo, you're trying to steal, or you're trying to get them to pay you 100 gold, and that's why these guys were after him. The only combat was for them to get the sword back so they could make 100 gold off the after the village instead of the
No,
20.
that was just his sword.
Are you
He had
sure?
already handed off the
We never see that though. Then
the
why-
emperor's sword or whatever, the expensive sword. That mission is done. We've already that's the end of a previous mission. They're
Well-
just
But I
pissed
guess-
off because he stole it from them, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
I guess it just sets up his character that he'll kind of do like anything for money in that way, that he'll just take whatever job.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My interpretation was that he was returning the sword, and the whole vibe was like,
No.
this was a magic sword that he has to return, and he was getting paid practically nothing. And all of the bad guys were like, why are you doing this for practically nothing?
I think that all that was to set up two things. One, he's a badass swordsman.
Sure.
And two, he is inherently a good person, which was he was willing to do a task for a small pittance amount of money. Not, and you think at first it's, oh, you're an idiot and you're not, you're supposed to think at first he's just cheap and just doing stuff for cheap and he's a shitty mercenary. But really the answer is he's actually a good guy,
Okay.
willing to do the right thing. And he needs a little bit of money, to live.
Sure. To live. Okay.
So I think that's what that whole scene was set up to do, which then quickly leads us into the setup, which is there's a plague going on in this village that's kind of quarantined off, and then they show a lady kind of plagued up who dies immediately. And so that you start to get this idea that this village is segregated. Everyone is veered away from it.
Yeah, they're closing off the highways. They're shutting everything
Go
down.
around.
Don't believe any of this.
Don't believe any of this because there's a plague.
No, I don't believe any of this.
What do you mean?
Everyone's cooperating.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Japan.
That is true. That is true.
That is
very
Well, no,
very good point.
historically, they just would, like, the government said something, okay.
That's a good point. It helps that like the government had people with swords that could tell you what to do.
That
True.
is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
No, that makes sense. So then
Plague deniers, you know what I mean?
a ninja group is sent in to discover because they believe something is awkward and strange with all of this. And that is when we meet Ninja Girl. I don't even know what her character name is.
Ninja Woman.
Kagero.
Kikira Ninja Woman.
Kagero Ninja Girl. And they get ambushed by one of the devils, the bad boys.
A stone dude.
A stone dude.
A stone dude. And he kind of just wrecks shop.
Yeah.
And this is where this moment was where I'm like, oh, it's a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
This was the moment where he's ripping through trees and shit.
Where his
and he's
blades
just killing everybody. He has no control. He's just throwing this boomerang sword thing or this double-bladed sword through this forest, and he's just ripping people in half. But it's your first like real introduction for the gore,
Yes.
the tone, I should say, and the violence.
Yes.
And you get a lot of it. You get a lot of it, and I don't know. How do you? Are you in? Are you yay? Are you like that was fucking dope? Or are you
I think when I was younger, I was like, this is fucking dope.
Right.
But I think we've done this scene so much better already nowadays.
It's not believable either.
Yeah, and I don't care about the believability. We watch a lot of movies that suspend our disbelief, so that doesn't really bother me. I think it was more just we've done it better choreographed, better video, better everything. This was like this was the shoulder that other giants stood on.
Sure.
And I can see that. This is not the best version of this kind of blood and gore in a forest, you know what I mean? Ninjas.
Okay.
But it's not bad considering it came out then. I think now I'm less enthused by it.
Okay.
I will say the audio was good. Because,
Sound design was great.
When it wasn't, when his weapon wasn't on screen, you can hear it like in the background.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh shit, it's coming back.
Yeah, and you can kind of hear it going from like left to right
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So I think the audio was really good.
That makes
It
sense.
was shocking. I was like, holy shit, he's like literally cutting people in half.
Tree branches, everything.
Yeah.
That was probably the most unbelievable part for me. Not that he was a giant stone golem man. It was the fact that he was throwing this thing and it was coming back to him. It wasn't just getting stuck.
What's that? Boomerang, you do always come back.
Yeah, yeah, man. That was my thing. I wasn't that.
Hey,
Oh, it's
what about Songo's Hiroko's?
what?
That comes back. Her giant boomerang.
What?
Inuyasha,
Okay.
the girl, she has a giant boomerang. Does the same thing. It's just on a blade. Never mind.
Okay. Are we talking about the show with the cat?
Yeah, Kira.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Not that he's a
completely threw you
not that he's a giant stone monster, which makes no sense. But like I'm in. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a fantasy land, and there's a rock man he's got stone skin. But he can just throw his sword into the woods and it comes back to him, no problem. Killing hundreds of men was like, okay. From there, he captures Ninja Girl.
Yeah.
And then he licks her.
Yeah,
He licks her very provocatively. It's not quite a rape scene as much as he is sexually assaulted.
Yes. I think this is an important scene to talk about.
Would you argue?
I think it's still rape.
I agree with you, but
No, because I would say later on in the movie, we get penetration, in which case that is a rape. This is just a lot of sexual assault.
There was an incentive that he may or not penetrate her with his tongue, but definitely did a thing with his tongue.
Yeah.
But we never seen any. Okay.
We didn't see the penetration
we didn't see
either.
the other thing either.
We definitely did.
So in that
yeah, we
definition,
definitely
it
did.
was-
We definitely did.
I
I don't want to
I
get
don't-
into describing
I
it,
think,
but we
yeah,
definitely
I think this
fucking
was
did.
the worst scene, and I think part of the rawness of it.
creepy.
It is. I think you're meant to, as a viewer, feel uncomfortable within the helplessness of our main character or our secondary character.
Yes, and I think a big portion of it is the way he treated it felt more like a food drumstick. He treated her more like a drumstick. than like an act. Like, you
The
know
ice
what I'm
cream,
talking about?
not the chicken.
Not that, yeah. He was just like, and you're like, okay, you're just treating her like food at this point,
Right.
Like, just nod her thigh, like you're done, like eat it,
Right.
Which was weird. It was a weird way of showing it.
Well, I'm happy that our boy was there.
Jubei,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
'cause
so happened, and he's like, "Hey, I don't want to interrupt you, but can you just tell me directions?" And it's literally on the back of this box where he's trying to.
oh my god, it is.
He's trying. It doesn't show her boobs, but like, literally, he's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna get in close to you guys, but can you help me out?"
I think in a weird sort of manner, it's also played off of her like uncomfortable comedy.
Kinda.
Like there's this horrible thing that's just about to happen, and you do see a boob, and it's really awkward. And then our dashing hero kind of just waltzes in and starts cracking jokes. And you're like, okay, how is this going to go?
Yeah.
But then we discover that the stone man cannot be hurt except for his eyes.
No, he pisses him off so much that he like bulks up, and he's like, "Well, you can't all be stoned," and then just gets him in the eye.
I do have an important question on this one though.
Give us that.
Do you think that Jubei was trying to save her at the beginning, or just wanted the information and the guy was just being a dick?
I think he needed to be really careful, considering he was like choking her at that point, and he knew probably if he like pushed him too much, she would just kill her.
So you think he was actively trying to do it, but he had to do it in a very strategic way?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I agree with you, considering like the
Considering
history.
the position he had her in, it was like she could have been dead in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think considering what they tried to show off with the character, that he is a kind person willing to do the right thing
For no money.
for no money, I think you're absolutely right in that tone. I just wanted to ask because I didn't know. You don't know when you see these scenes. I didn't understand it when I first saw it because I didn't understand half this movie.
Yeah.
So the next scene is, I think, a really weird jump because it goes from he fights off the stone dude after the stone dude molests Kagiri, and then he's immediately told, "You don't go after him. You're not allowed to go."
The
after
bad
him.
guys tell the stone dude not to go after him.
Well,
The
it's not the
shadow government.
priority.
The
Shadow government. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to go after him. Stop it. So our
Why?
hero gets away.
Why?
You have better shit to do.
Because the next scene, it's him literally going after him.
That's-
That's where I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this weird cut of this movie?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's
Yeah.
because they probably were going to go secure like the gold shipment on the beach.
Yeah.
And then they happened upon the village, and they were going to start messing with stuff to uncover the truth of it. And then that's when he started attacking them, because that was supposed to be kept like, that's why they were blocking off the roads.
So are you guys saying that the demons are there to buy for time until the boat shows up? So
They're there
just
to
trying to keep people out of the village?
Yeah, they're
They-
trying to control the situation.
The original boat crashed with the gold.
Right.
And then they had to go and move the gold to a secure location,
Which is
and
the village.
wait a day for the other boat to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the village was kind of just in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, the village is just happenstance. They're unlucky. The demons were sent
Yeah.
to contain the situation. Don't let anyone in,
Yeah.
so that they
So
had
they-
time to get the gold.
That's why they poisoned the whole town.
Okay.
Just to keep everything a
sorry,
secret.
everybody. That was the mystery.
That's the overall plot of
Yeah.
all of this. Is there's a case of gold that shows up, and the bad guys want it, and the good guys don't want the bad guys to get it. And they start murdering the whole town in order to keep things a secret, which oddly draws more attention to them. And our hero is the man in the right place at the right time, Jubei, to solve the problem. So that's the overall plot.
He gets told not to kill him,
Yeah.
and then in the next scene, he goes to kill him.
Yeah.
It does jump.
Yep. It was a dumb cut.
But then twist, he was already poisoned because he licked the ninja girl, who was revealed earlier on that she is immune to all venom and poison and cannot be poisoned because she works for the house.
She's like the house poisoner.
She's the house poisoner.
She eats the poisoned food for...
Right. So she
people.
checks all the food for poison.
Yeah, she knows the poison technique. Or has it.
Technique.
But we also
Technique.
discover... Technique. Yeah, not magic. Technique. The other thing we have is that her body is considered poison.
Right. She's oozing poison for how much she is constantly consuming to stay alive.
Yes, which is why this stone guy who licks her and kisses her in her no places he basically ingests the poison, so now he's being rotting from the inside rather than coming from the outside. Hey, it's his weakness.
It is his weakness.
And Jubei
You
fights
think water, though, he would have just sunk.
Yeah, but he can turn on stone. So he can just turn on stone and re-swim.
Okay.
You just have to fight him in water, I guess.
All right.
So that he, yeah. Anyway,
So who's the next guy that he fights?
So after, there's an one important scene, which is after he fights off the stone guy, who was weakened by the ninja girl. He's trying to take a bath, and he meets Snake Girl.
So
Snake Woman.
For audience members, just so we're all clear and on the same page, we are not getting Ninja Girl's name wrong. She is strictly referred to as Ninja Girl for a very long time in the movie until the very end when you actually get her name.
Kaguro.
Yes.
Kaguro. But for the most part, it's just, it must be hard living as a ninja girl, doing ninja girl things. And it's very awkward and clunky. And we kept laughing every time it started coming up because it was just like, fucking just ask her name.
It got really weird.
Well, Ninja Girl's doing Ninja Girl stuff. But anyway, so we learn Snake Lady.
Snake Lady. Yeah, it turns out she's all snake. But the important part of the scene is she gets away. That's not important. What's important about this scene is in the water where he gets poisoned by this is where he first meets, what's his name? Dakuan, the ninjas, or the government spy.
The government spy priest.
Yeah.
I want to rewind real quick. Ninja Girl, the reason why we call her Snake Lady, not Ninja Girl, oh my God, Snake Lady. The reason why we're calling her Snake Lady is because when she's first revealed, her tattoos become alive and they're snakes. And it is a cool scene.
It is a cool
scene. And then
scene,
it stops being a cool scene once he cuts all the snakes' heads off in like one swoop.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that was not a party trick.
She sheds her skin and gets away.
Yeah.
She has all of these beautiful tattoos and then they're gone. And she pops like rice paper through the door as she pops out. That was the other thing that keeps happening in this movie. They're like, oh no, you almost defeated me. And then they just explode out of their bodies like a cocoon or the piece of paper. And then they're just, oh no, it was an escape sack or skin sack.
It was just a skin. She just shed it off of her skin.
And it just keeps happening. Oh,
Yeah.
you got me. And you're like, oh God, oh.
Yeah.
So there's just skin floating all over feudal Japan.
But I think the important part of that scene is the spy guy poisons Jubei, our main lead.
Yeah, he's the one that does it.
Yeah.
Yes.
He makes it seem like somebody else did it.
No, he said,
Oh, he
I
told
poisoned
him?
you. Yeah, he's like, I poisoned
Oh,
you.
I thought he was trying to cover it up.
Yeah, because remember Jubei took the thing and put him in, it stabbed him with it and said, well, now you need the poison.
Yeah.
I think that's another clue. And he made the comment, well, I threw that one away.
Right.
I threw that needle away. I think that's another clue to his immortality. Because he's like, I'm
is
dealing with
this
poisons. He's just some government
He's a
spy.
government
Who is
spy.
this guy? That's so weird.
Yeah. But I think that's another clue to his immortality. But he basically sets up using dirty tactics, a way to force Jubei to get involved in the situation.
He's acting like a government?
Yeah. I know, yeah.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah. That is so true. He's acting like
To get what he needs? In order to win a war, or not even a war? There's no war. It's just a very large exchange of money.
Yes. So I think the next one.
So now they're working for the government.
Now they're working for the government, and the next one they fight. I forget who's the next one they fight. This is the problem with this is it just kind of goes from scene to scene to scene, and it's hard to remember exactly in which order.
Mushizo and Utsu. I don't remember. Was it it wasn't the shadow guy?
No, it wasn't the shadow guy. He was later on.
No, but the shadow guy does show up and throws he shows up.
Yes.
Our government agent turns into the tree person and hides, and then they go, curious, and they both go, curious. Curious.
I know we just watched this. This is
Fantastic.
Bad that we don't.
But I think that's a
Marvelous.
Well, there was 8 of them.
Unpredictable.
There's 8 of them, and I think this shows a lot about the part. You just read off
Wayward,
things.
even.
I think this just shows the weakness of this movie.
Right.
In some ways it's gorgeous, but at the same time you're lost in not lost in the gorgeousness, but they don't emphasize the story and understanding what's going on well enough.
It's a lot of, hey, there's the bad guys and they're everywhere and they're all in a 10-mile radius.
Yeah.
And we're going to run into each other and everyone's moving around trying to kind of on patrol and we're trying to get to the town.
Yeah.
As we work closer towards this town, we're going to keep running into them. But if we can kick their ass to a point where they're like, okay, not today, Satan, and they bounce the fuck out, we might buy ourselves more time, bandage ourselves up, and actually go in and find these guys. Because there's a little bit of like tracking.
Yes.
The shadow guy, they're like, fuck, where did he go? And they don't realize that he's a shadow guy yet.
Yes.
As they're like, we're after him, and then he's just gone.
So
And that's when we're like, aha, we got to really figure this out and how to beat these guys. Because then they start killing each other. The demons start infighting.
Yes. That's right at the end.
Mushizo is the hornet nest.
So he's the next one. So they fight the hornet nest dude, which is a weird fight.
I liked the Hornet's Nest dude.
Did you?
I did. I liked the Hornet's Nest dude. I think flower power answers all. I think
that didn't make much sense to me.
wave of hornets come flying at her, and Ninja Girl opens her kimono, and a bunch of flowers and pollen, just like Katara, there's just a well of water. Poison, or no,
pollen.
it was poison pollen that was killing, or not killing.
It was an antiseptic.
It was putting them to sleep.
That's what it
Putting
was.
them to sleep.
But I find that funny. It's like, who sits there and is like, just in case, I'm going to bring an armful of anesthetic pollen. It's like, just a weird choice.
Look at this guy right now. Look at this fucking guy. Okay. You know what? It was a stupid question that was. Clearly, he's not a ninja girl. Okay? Clearly, he's not a ninja girl who brings poisonous pollen.
I'm never prepared like a good ninja.
Because you're not a prepared ninja girl.
So this website froze your computer.
Oh, nice, lovely.
Why do you have so many windows
I
open?
don't know.
You probably shouldn't have gone to that to that website. Maybe you shouldn't be going to Hentai Haven. Just
Why did you?
Ninjascroll.fandom.com.
fix your website?
You opened so many windows.
It's frozen.
You opened so many windows. Anyway.
Fix your website.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with your website. Your website's, I'm sure it's fine.
So, if we can talk quickly about the beehive fight, or the hornet's nest,
Yes.
we'll say. They have this great scene where they cannot control the amount of wasps in the air. They are fighting them.
Bees? Why does it have to be the bees?
It's the bees. And then the flowers go around, putting a large portion of them to sleep as they vied for time. At this point, our hero, Jubei, gets pretty much the shit kicked out of him as he goes to attack the wasp demon, stabbing his back, cutting open a hornet's nest.
Yes.
Or he literally.
Oh, I see
kicks
you
open-
found my hornet's nest.
Oh, you found them.
Which
my
I want to be
children.
clear, that guy has to be the worst fear of people with tryptophobia.
I don't
Yes.
like that. I really, like you said, oh, there's this thing with holes, and I'm like, holes?
Holes.
Yeah, it's such a, on his back he's just got all the holes like a hive. So if you have tryptophobia, don't watch this movie. Or at least not that scene.
It's very good. At which point he swims away trying to fight off the wasps, circling back. Also, everybody can just hold their breath for forever. They can jump as high as they want, and they can hold their breath for as long as they want.
I was expecting the reed trick.
I was expecting the reed trick as well.
What's the reed
Like
trick?
where the samurai goes under and he just gets a reed.
The reed.
And it's like a little...
Bubbles.
yeah.
As soon as I'm
Yeah.
like the long grass in the water, the reed trick.
Yeah. Okay.
Aha.
I see what you're saying.
He pops back up and cuts the guy's leg off, falling into the water.
Yeah.
And then the part of that fight that I loved the most is all of the wasps are scared of drowning and end up attacking him.
Fucking trying to
and
get
I'm
out.
like,
Well,
that's
they just tried
great.
to escape him. Yeah, it's
That's
it's like,
great.
Oh, God.
They're eating him up and they're stinging him to get out.
Yeah,
as
the
they
water's
come out.
filling up the spot, so they're just trying to get out in whatever ways they can. They're trying to burrow out of him.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that is a great scene and a great death.
We then get
The blind swordsman.
the blind swordsman. Owl girl, blind swordsman.
Yeah, they
and
climb up the hill, but to be fair, just before they climb up the hill and they're introduced to the power of the lady with like the red cloak and the feathers.
Yes, the
Which
girl who
is-
wants to sleep with all the demon boys, but they don't want anything to do with her because
Yes,
she smells like bird shit.
probably because she smells like black powder and corpses.
Probably.
Yeah, the one guy, I guess the second in command, he wants nothing to do with her the whole time.
Well, it turns out
he's
he's gay.
Did you not know he was gay?
Well, that's why she was making fun of him for being the snake lady's lover, because it's like, oh, she sleeps with men and women, and I guess she doesn't want you.
No, Gemma.
Gamma.
Oh, Gamma.
Demodon.
Oh.
Yeah, because he sleeps with Gemma, and then later on,
Did
she
you
makes-
not see the love triangle? Was that not
I
explained?
missed the love triangle.
I totally have no idea what's going on. Keep going.
So the dude with the wires sleeps with Gemma, and he's also his right hand man. And
You know what I mean?
so the guy,
Hell
the
yeah.
lady in the red cloak, at some point is like, "Oh, well, he also sleeps. He swings both ways.
Right.
He also sleeps with the snake lady." oh, you didn't know that? Oh, I'm so sorry for insulting
That's where the
you.
snakes came from.
Yeah.
Gross.
Gross. So yeah, Gemma it swings both ways and was sleeping with both of them, and that it was kind of a show of you can't trust him. He's not someone you put your faith or trust in. It was just one of those additions to that information that he's seeding mistrust in his own men, his own soldiers, or whatever you want to call
By
them.
sleeping with them.
Yeah, in theory, yeah. So it's
Wild.
after that hill explosion that, yeah, we're on the middle of like a mountain pretty much, like a small hill, small mountain at the edge of a cliff face. And then after the explosion, there's a level of like, come fight me in a bamboo forest. You're like, wait, where the fuck did this bamboo forest come from? And they just side run into this bamboo forest.
Did we get Blind Man's name?
Brian, his name is Mujuru.
Oh,
Ujuru.
I don't think they ever said that in the
The
movie.
fourth ninja.
He's apparently the only ninja without supernatural powers.
Oh, he's blind. That's the power.
His power. Your sight is your weakness.
They were on that mountain because Jubei figured out, because he was part of the plot from the 5 years previous, because he used to work for Gemma.
Yes.
Okay.
And Gemma had betrayed everybody by asking all his men to kill each other to keep the gold mine secret that he discovered.
Yes.
Hence where the gold has come from.
Okay.
And all these demons now have come to work for him. So he's like, wait, I remember something from my past. Like, this is probably what they're going after. So he was looking for if there was any evidence of, like, eventually he found the ship, and he's like, that's what they were after.
So
Yeah.
can I ask, besides the one guy having a crush on him, why are all the demons working for
Gemma?
Demodon?
He offers them power and money, I'm guessing. They don't really mention why.
They're just goons?
They're just
Is
generals
it
in
just
his army.
classic goon bullshit?
Yeah.
I can goon with that. That's fine.
They're just general.
Yeah,
they're
that's
just
fine.
the most powerful people in his army.
I can fuck with that. That's
Yeah.
totally fair.
Over
That's-
5 years, he regenerated and has put together this band of devils.
Sometimes it's okay that there's one bad guy and like 8 smaller goon type. We got rid of the goon type in fantasy and like superhero movies. They always end up just getting killed off. There's not enough henchmen anymore.
There
And
aren't
I'm
enough
sick and
Bobs.
There's not enough Bobs. There's not enough Bobs. There's not enough henchmen. Moving forward within the stories of like just even the MCU and everything like that, like they just get whacked.
Yes.
And there's no classic henchman. There's no guy who eats tuna sandwiches and wears a big hat.
Well, there's all the guys in the green outfits.
Yeah, the ninjas of the Shadow Shogun.
Unnamed henchman.
or the Dark
Pretty
Shogun,
much,
or whatever
yeah.
his name is. Shogun of the Dark, not
The
Dark Shogun.
devils are just the coolest ones.
They are.
Yeah, they're the baddest,
generals.
baddest of baddest.
Okay, so he gets his ass kicked by the blind guy
Yeah.
and almost dies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he has to be saved, not by a woman, but by a ninja girl. Oh, this
I
movie.
do love that he doesn't get saved, and she's like, "Wow, why are you an idiot? Why aren't you taking help?" And his response to that is like, "Fuck you! You think your life was worth nothing?" Like, motherfucker, she just saved
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Like, if it wasn't for her, you would be the one. She'd be saying that to you right now.
right.
You're an idiot. So it just some of these lines just didn't quite make sense.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay,
But
keep
obviously,
going.
it was the first scene where they started to, like, I don't know, gain a mutual respect or an understanding of each other. I think it was the first scene of, I don't want to say love.
We need each other here.
We need each
if
other.
we're gonna survive this, because these bad guys are only getting more difficult to fight.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
things are getting way more challenging. And you saved me because I almost fell off a mountain, and I saved you because you almost fell off a mountain. And like, we're not matched, but we're pretty fucking matched, buddy.
We're comrades.
We are. Some would even say a couple.
Yeah. So then after that, that's when they start to fight the shadow guy in
Yes.
the trees right outside the
Yes.
town. That's when they originally officially see, hey, they've got the gold in the town, and we need to stop them before the boat shows up.
Yes.
Because when the boat shows up, there's going to be an army of ninjas.
Yes.
So Ninja Girl sends for her clan that originally sent her, said, hey, come get us. Like, you need to come help us.
Yes. There's a buttload of sexual tension
Buttload of sexual
because we
tension.
just saved each other. We just climbed up the side of a mountain.
Yep.
It's hot.
And with the ninja fight, even though he lost a bloody leg, he hopped his way to freedom.
Hops away. No fucking problem.
No problem. But he's a ninja, I guess. He's a demon ninja. And then he distracts Jubei with, I think it was like a dog or a fox that he bled, so that Jubei would follow the blood of an animal. Which I think was really cool.
I think it was smart.
I thought that was a pretty cool play.
Yeah.
Because what he actually did was kidnap Kagiri, Ninja Girl.
Ninja Girl.
through his shadows in a tree.
Wait, we totally skipped past the persimmon scene.
Persimmon scene. Oh yeah, the ninja, the snake girl.
Yeah. Oh, she comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We forgot about her.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I forgot about it. So
Yeah, she's Jubei goes up to a
Okay.
Buddhist temple early. This is earlier
Yeah.
what we were just talking
Yeah.
about. A Buddhist temple, finds an old lady. Turns out she's full of snakes.
She's full of snakes.
And so they fight her off. But her own boss kills her. Even though they would have killed her, they had the upper hand, but they didn't want her to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he killed her. The thing is, I didn't find the only thing I found remarkable about that scene.
Give me the only thing. Give me that. What's that one thing, Adam?
Well, the one thing was like a room full of snakes. That's it.
room
That was the only thing interesting
Full of snakes.
in that scene. There's nothing else that sparked our
Nothing
attention
else
or
happened,
notice.
nothing else popped up.
No,
Sprouted?
nothing else slithered its way into the scene.
So Ninja Girl comes bursting in to save him. He's like covered in snakes. She's like, let him go, and has her like to the throat with a knife, and is like, call the snakes off. And then a snake slithers out from somewhere and
From her
bites her
gooch.
leg.
We're not quite sure.
And she's like, this one stings the worst, and it bites her thigh.
It was
But she's like,
poisonous.
haha, I'm not into girls, and I anti-poison. And then she kills her
Yeah.
after the snakes are relieved. You know what? In a Castlevania Netflix show, I think this would have been a much more comedic scene.
Yeah.
Comedic?
Yeah.
I
I think if a Belmont was lying there covered in snakes, and like we had those moments where it's just pause, and it's like, can you save me? And it's like, in a minute.
Yeah.
What? It's a den of poisonous snakes. Yeah, I know. And we're gonna just get you out of there in a minute.
And
Yeah.
then does she end up passing out from the poison?
No, she ends up getting bit by a vagina.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
No, she doesn't care about the poison, but Jubei goes to like, I'm going to go suck the poison out of you. And she's like, do you know you fucking won't? She just
runs
Yeah.
over
over
like-
like no.
And she's like, I was just assaulted like yesterday. Like, get
Yeah.
away from me.
Yeah, he runs right at her, mouth open, lips pucked.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, skipping past it. Like the scene
But
was
then we find out that if anyone sleeps with her, they die of poison.
Oh.
And then there's a lot of staring.
Yeah, because she loves him, and she's like, I want to be with you, but I'm not gonna say that yet. But
No, she hates
you
him.
will die if you try to do anything.
No, I think that's her curse. Is
Yeah.
she clearly, because of her situation, holds everyone at a distance. For obvious reasons physically. And part of that is there's a scene earlier after she gets molested and Jubei saves her and they split away. She looks back, sees that he's crested over the hill, and she curls over crying
Yeah.
because of what she'd just gone
she is
through.
indeed not okay.
The curse of the weeb. Always horny, always alone.
Yeah.
Covered
No,
in poison.
I think she takes a woman. She's not willing to be weak in front of other people. And I think
Right.
it's a really good scene.
Well, she would lose Ninja Girl status at that point.
Yeah.
Oh no! She when they find the boat, she gets like heat exhaustion. That's the persimmon scene. He like brings her to a cave to cool down and gives her a persimmon.
What a weird moment, too.
Yeah.
This journey, my feet, I'm immune to poison. Like dehydration. Like, just fucking knocks
The
her out.
real killer.
The real killer is dehydration in this movie.
Yeah, it is a weird one. And it's funny because the same director and
Oh well, they did poison the water too, so I guess that makes sense. When they
Well, I
went
thought she was immune to water. Oh, she can't drink anything. They're all dehydrated. Oh my God, you're right. The water was poisonous.
yeah, she could have drank it.
She would have been fine.
I guess she's immune to poison, but not
Not the
necessarily immune
plague.
to
Disease.
disease.
Not
There's
disease.
a difference.
They- yeah.
Should have put those 2 points somewhere else.
But it was a very sweet scene, and we had an argument about if it was a tomato or a persimmon.
He fed her a tomato with his
It was
mouth.
a persimmon.
I can't kiss you, but I'll put this tomato in my mouth and kiss the tomato instead.
Persimmons.
Like 2 dogs. No, they didn't
Tastes
do
like
that.
black pepper and cinnamon.
Is that what it is?
Speaking of black pepper, we're on. No, that was the other scene with the.
No, this is the ninja guy takes away Ninja Girl and traps her, and Jubei is basically given a choice. Do you go after the gold and guarantee success? Or do you go try and save her and walk into a trap? And again, showing his character, he goes, no, I'm going to go after her. I'm going to go help her.
The priest offers money over bitches, and he takes bitches, and it's awful.
Yeah, this one was also bad because she was like shibari'd.
She was shibari'd
Yeah.
up, and the one-legged shadow demon rapes her,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finger bangs her.
finger bangs her.
Well, maybe it doesn't show, but she's like not tied up anymore when he finds her. So it's like
Because he did something to like mind control her or something. They
Yeah.
never really explain that part of him though, which is weird. Like, does
I got nothing. I
Is
don't
the
even have
finger
a
banging
joke.
a part of the mind
I don't have a
control?
joke.
I don't know what this means.
Oh, he's hypnotized. He's a hypnotist.
Oh, they don't really ever explain that.
No.
his metallic claw from his hand. It even possesses people's minds. So that's his hand.
Oh.
Oh, he's got the magic hand or
Wow.
claw in this.
Yeah.
And the only way to possess people's minds is through their vagina.
Is this Chobbits?
Madhouse did animate Chobbits.
Oh my god! Of course they did.
Where is the magic button? And how do we shut it off?
Oh my god! This is just spiraling.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. This is
No. I had a good time. It was good to see. I've never seen this before.
This
so
is a
I'm
raised by spoilers movie by the definition because it's kind of like that one that inspired so many other things, but itself is. We'll talk about our ratings later. So they do that. However, it is at this after fighting him.
He throws a fucking sword at him,
Throws
and
a
that's
sword
it.
into the
It's not
shadow.
even like, oh, they're gonna fight through shadows, and we're gonna have to crack the ceiling open to get rid of the shadows in order to reveal where he's at.
Yeah.
He just fucking throws the sword and kills him immediately. Oh,
He just sort of falls out of the shadow.
yeah, it's very quick. It was very like, oh man, that's the thing. You get these hype moments where you're like, oh, these fights are gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
How is he gonna solve this puzzle? Oh, he's just gonna stab,
it's just done.
just stab the puzzle.
Yeah, just brute force it.
Yeah.
No, they do that, and then that's when she reveals that she learned the secret from the spy that the cure for Jubei's poison, which is what the spy gave him, is within what's her face's body, Ninja Girl's body.
Right.
So they must bang. They must have sex.
And
in
then
order
she
to,
fingers Jubei.
Yeah, no, she tries to. I think this is another moment of
And
like
he says, "No,
important
thank you."
character design where she tries to. She's like, "Hey, I'm willing to do this for you." Obviously, she's still not fully comfortable because she's covering her body.
Right.
So it's a clear sign of she respects him, she likes him, she wants to do what's right for him, she owes him a debt, but it's not something she necessarily wants at that time. And I think he recognizes that and says, "No."
Gotta suck the poison out, which is the worst thing. Jubei literally just goes, I'm going after the twink with the string, and kind of shoves her off and then leaves immediately.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he doesn't really explain that. He's like, he doesn't want to. She's clearly still traumatized.
yeah, you're right. There is the walk away, but there isn't the, you're not ready. This isn't right.
Yes.
There's no,
Lack of communication.
there's no dialogue. There's just, you get a scene where he just kind of silently shoves her off and she just sobs naked in a fucking abandoned house with her tormentor dead on the floor.
And what's weirder is they show a scene right after that where they show like through a broken window.
Yeah.
They show the boat coming in, the boat that they need to get there before.
Yeah.
I almost think because there was a moment where he was
My ride's
holding
here,
her,
babe. Gotta go.
where he was holding her, and I
Yeah.
think he saw through the
I think
window.
he's seen the
I went,
boat.
shit, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And I almost, there's a small part of me that thinks, and I'm not 100% sure because the way they set up his character versus this feel at odds. But I think that's what's going on here is I think he's like, okay, I've done my thing. Now this is the revenge Jubei.
Yes.
This is the Jubei that's on a mission now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of just a moment he sees it and goes, well, I gotta go.
There's the boat.
Get your shit together. Stay here. Go away. I'll come back for you. Type of thing. Like, which is not a great scene.
No.
This director is famous for
dialogue?
Yeah, definitely not. No, for portraying women fairly poorly in a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I
And
get that.
I could see that.
I can see it.
We did see it.
Yeah.
I mean, she was very strong in the fact that she saved him a few times. Like she held up her own in fights.
Yeah.
But definitely fell victim to the classic tropes.
Yes. They try to make her strong, and I think I liked the idea that they made her strong, but at the same time vulnerable in the sense of like she just went through ordeals and she's crying. But the problem is none of the other characters have that same depth. So
Yeah.
while it's nice to see that in characters, all it does is make her stand out from the rest as a air quotes weaker character. And I think that is a weakness in the situation.
Well, if I could, say one thing real quick. She's not quite a ninja girl, nor is she quite a ninja woman.
Oh God.
Awful. Moving on.
So they meet. They do find out as they're about to assault the boat that's loading up all the gold. Her clan, they're like, wow, they came, and it turns out it's a trap. And this is when you first meet Gemma, who can shape change and literally just stabs her in the back because he comes in the form of her boss, of her lord.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when the final phase begins.
Which is weird because we
act.
don't get the power set of Gemma. Gemma can live forever, resurrect, and shape change. Plus, he's got a metal arm.
Not a metal arm. He just has like a armor on it. If you there's a few scenes where you can see the skin underneath.
What's under that arm? Is it like horribly burned or scarred?
No, he can shape change. So no, it's whatever he
So
wants.
then
it
what's
to
the
look
point
like.
of the metal arm?
So he can block blades.
What if he had a blade in the arm?
Why does he need a blade? He can punch people.
I don't know. I'm just making his character more complicated.
No, I think he stands out. He's a
Okay.
big
I mean, his
dude.
chin is already stand out enough.
I know.
It's very JoJo.
That's true. Yeah, a little bit of JoJo.
It's
JoJo.
very like angular.
A little bizarre.
Yes. They did not do JoJo.
Oh, okay.
So, but so that's when we basically get the final fight. The one wire demon that kind of kept pushing off the female Yurimaru.
Thank you.
Where he kept pushing off the Yakuro, the one who explodes. Yeah, who loves Genma. She basically exploded him with a rat, which was hilarious.
Awful.
Yeah, in the middle of the fight, all of a sudden this rat comes because he has Jubei by the throat, electrocuting him, and then this rat comes out and starts like
Convulsing into his little like steam.
and then he notices the stitch, and he's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, which is a great
She
scene.
had time to sew up a rat.
Yeah, I assume she's just quick at it. It's supernatural now.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
But I do like this funny that the arm like explodes from the house all the way to the dock. Like if you looked at how far that scene was, that was like a whole row of houses plus a dock.
Yeah.
That thing launched like probably 2 kilometers.
Her rat technique is quite good.
Yeah. But they start betraying each other. So they're on the ship now.
Okay.
Kagero, Jubei goes and finds Kagero, who is stabbed in the back, basically. And they have a final moment where she basically professes her love to him. And he professes his love to her. And they have a last kiss, which, in theory, cured him.
Yes. What I was worried about was the
What were you worried
line
about? What
of
were you worried about?
"It's not too late," and I'm like, no. Because when she went to go take her headband off, I'm like, she is not gonna get undressed right now. And like, she's
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, no.
I
Please,
thought that's what was gonna.
That's what's happening. She just starts unbuttoning.
I know, but she's literally like, "It's not too late," and I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Get it, girl.
No.
Get it. The boat's sailing. I know. And I made the comment. I'm like, the boat is sailing away. And he's like, no. It's like, stop.
The boat's right here.
Stop.
We're about to get on.
Stop.
We're going to get on the love boat.
But they have a very lovely kiss instead.
Yeah,
It's awful.
she died doing what she loved, Jubei.
Curing him.
Yeah.
Which he could have just kissed her before, and he
Could
could
have
have
licked
been
her.
cured.
He could have just licked her arm.
I don't think
Yeah.
he thought that the kiss would be enough. I don't think at all during this he thought the kiss was going to be enough.
Yeah.
I think that was just a happenstance, coincidentally. Because remember, the original thing was she had to sleep with him. So
Well,
it's like
she mentioned the line earlier in the movie that even just like a kiss could
kiss.
kill somebody.
Right.
yeah, I don't think they made that connection. I think the kiss was a true, supposed to be passionate kiss, although I didn't really feel a passion between these characters, to be honest. I don't know if anyone else did.
Well, I did.
Well, there was a little bit.
It was all.
They only
It's all
knew each other
passion.
for a day and a half.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that easily swayed, but it was just, it felt a little rushed.
You didn't climb a mountain, run through a bamboo jungle, and then.
So he puts her in a boat and then rips off his sleeves while simultaneously putting on her headband.
It was amazing. And then he sails a horse after the boat, and it is the dumbest thing.
Well, you mean made that joke, and then he actually rode the horse into the ocean.
Well, that's straight out. I was like, no, this jabroni is not gonna fucking take the horse out. I'm still coming to get you, Barbara. Like, awful.
I thought he was going to ride the horse up the cliff and jump.
Yeah,
That's what I thought
Yeah.
too. It's been a while since
yeah.
I've seen
Good
it. But
slow mo. Like horse goes in, he goes up. The horse gets away, no problem.
the horse gets Yoshi'd. He just jumps off the
yeah,
back
straight
of the hose.
out. Yeah,
It's like the stunt with Tom Cruise in the last Mission Impossible where he just lets the motorcycle go.
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fair. But
Okay.
now that he's on the boat, the spy is on the boat. He finds the gold,
He finds
and
it.
the black powder zombie demon Sakuro finds him there, and he's just like, "Good, you're exactly the one I wanted." Splashes her with alcohol, and Jubei shows up with the final torch to light her up.
She was a zombie. The owl girl.
No,
The
but she
bomb?
makes zombies. Right? She puts what's the word I'm looking for? She puts explosives inside of them and then like seals them. Although I guess they might not be dead.
I think the whole thing was it was like he was alive. She just stitched him up, and that's why she was like, "Hey, you're deaf and walking off a cliff," and that's why Ninja Girl was so upset because her ex-lover.
she was blind and because he was blind and deaf.
Yeah,
And he was just walking because he didn't know what he was doing.
Much more upsetting.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Out of all the watchings, I've always thought they were zombies.
Nope, they're
That was
just
in a CSI
tortured.
episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dark.
Yeah.
It's way worse.
Barrel?
I guess it also
Years
explains
ago.
why the rat acts like a rat.
Yeah,
It's just in pain.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Shit, that's way worse.
Her rat technique is top notch.
Gunpowder rigged rat.
Duly noted for another D&D character. So that's when they have the final fight with Genma on the boat after the lady explodes the whole boat,
Yep.
causing everything to go on fire. This very wooden, large castle of a ship
Yep.
basically lights up, and Jubei is fighting Genma, and Jubei just like is slowly being whittled down, and Genma just keeps getting his ass literally in a way that would kill him every
We
single
get a
time.
little exposition,
Yeah.
but not a lot, not enough.
No,
Not a. Oh, it's you again. It like that's the extent of it.
I don't think there needs to be a lot. We've
Well,
already
it's his
been
old
set up.
boss. Like he's Jinbei is the one who killed Genma.
Yeah.
He's the one that decapitated him. So he's like, I'm here to finish the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Genma, what's weird is Genma, there's like a kind of a level of like, Jubei's like, I remember you, I'm going to fucking kill you again. I'll kill you wherever you exist. And Genma, like half the time is like, yeah, I'll let my henchmen deal with
I
you.
never even think of you.
Yeah.
Which is even
Who,
worse.
Yeah.
who are you? Like, it's,
Who are
I
you
mean,
again?
he did care enough about his henchmen to tell them to get off the ship.
And sleep
Yeah.
sleep with them.
I mean, apparently he was only sleeping with the two.
I mean,
apparently
fair
that's
enough.
something.
That's enough.
But yeah, you're right. It is funny that he's like, get off. But I think it's more of a utilitarian, like, get off so I can call upon you again.
Yeah, true.
He did say that. But yeah, I do find it funny that there's a level of like Jubei is like hyper focused on Genma, and Genma's just like, I don't even know who you are. Like, he does clearly,
Yeah.
but he just doesn't have that same.
But he's like, you can't kill me. So, you know, you're killing yourself trying to kill me by like headbutting me to death and then
Yeah.
cutting me in half.
He's just slowly breaking down Jubei while Jubei is like killing him over and over and over again. He keeps regenerating, and eventually, because gold has a lower melting point than most metals, it kind of comes pouring out of the ship. All the gold had been
Right.
heating up, and it pours through the ship like a wave, and immediately covers Genma.
That ship would have been sinking a lot fucking quicker, I think.
It's possible. I don't know. I don't know about
I don't know
ship
either.
physics. I don't know.
Physics? I don't know.
Liquid gold.
Liquid
But it
gold.
was. I think it was kind of cool. But I think they needed to set up the gold. They needed to have a few cutaway scenes where they showed the gold melting out of the boxes.
Because I
Yeah.
was so confused. I'm like, why is it? Is it
Why
the
is the water
fire? Is the
yellow?
water yellow because the fire is
Yeah.
reflecting off the boat? Is that the water from the inside the boat
Yes.
sinking?
Don't you remember The Hobbit?
Yeah, actually, I do. I read the
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Yeah. I read the book on that one.
So like, yeah, you're right. And when I first watched that scene, I didn't understand it a long
Yeah.
time ago. I had to watch it a few times in order to understand what was really going on. But again, like if they cut away to that scene, showed the
Yeah.
bars melting,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think this would have made more sense.
I think that's your like countdown. Is
Yeah.
the gold is melting, the boat is burning, and it's like I gotta beat him
well,
and
you
get the
even
fuck
said, like,
off
the
this boat
heat,
before
like,
it all
it's
goes down.
just getting hotter.
Right. It's only getting hotter and hotter. I would say, call back to Conan, another Raised by Spoilers show you can watch or listen to. Do you think Jubei and Gemma are fighting and Gemma sends his henchman away just in case he gets his ass beat again?
Well, I think just he
Is it like
ultimately believes he's going to survive.
Right, but if this guy beats me, I'm gonna look like a bitch in front of all of my
Oh.
men. No, because we
No.
had that, right? We've had those scenes where they're like, "Hey, all of you, leave this one to me, but also go away." That way, when I beat him and you don't see it, and then the guy ends up also getting killed, like just his ass swept with the floor.
I don't think that's the situation.
Okay.
No, I think Genma has such confidence that he doesn't even care.
He's got a gold arm.
He's got the yeah, and so yeah, after he gets covered in gold, immediately he falls into the water, which immediately hardens the gold, and he sinks to the bottom of the ocean, which I think sets up the idea of he will be there forever.
Well, he'll never die.
He'll never die,
which is insane. He'll just keep dying and regenerating and dying and regenerating.
Yeah,
until he's picked up.
See, that's the problem I have with those types of endings, and I think this is a great. Adam's going to go off on a
go
for
for
it,
it, Adam. Give it to us.
I absolutely hate these kinds of endings for villains because I look at that and that level of immortality as so fucking what? So what? This immortal guy, you're going to put him in water. He's going to suffer. It's going to suck.
This has nothing to do with the movie.
It's nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah.
Keep going.
He's going to suffer.
Keep going.
Right? He's going to suffer for a very long time.
Yeah.
This immortal character.
Yeah.
And then one day, could be the year 2000, right? Because this is feudal Japan. Could be the year 2000. Okay. Someone's going to go bleep, 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 bleep. Oh my God, there's metal under this sand. And then they're going to dig up a dude and they're going to break him out.
Right.
And then he'll be alive again. And he'll look back.
The whole process starts again.
And the whole fucking process starts again. And Jubei's already dead. And he's like, well, I won.
What if he learned something,
ancestors.
In the far-flung future, the year is 2005.
But you get my point. Like it just I hate these endings I don't see that as a victory for the hero. I just don't.
I think it's a problem for another day, unfortunately.
It is.
And
You'll be happy to know that this sequel has nothing to do. I don't think has anything to do with the ending of this.
No, it doesn't. But I just don't see it as a victory, and therefore I feel like it always. Every time I see this, I always look at that and go, "That you're not winning. I don't know what's going on here. You've just lost. You've lost. You have a delayed loss."
Yeah, but that's also like another day's problem. I mean, you look at Chernobyl, you look at Dracula, you look at the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Like it's just inevitable, my guy. It's coming for us all in the end.
I agree, but what's the difference between him having stopped this guy right now?
Okay.
The way he did.
Yeah.
Versus him having just let him take the gold. What's the difference? This guy's still going to mass amount of gold in the year 2000.
He could. Okay,
well,
so
he
you have
got revenge now for killing his lady.
No, he didn't. He delayed. He gave the guy an annoying cut for a few years.
But also, I don't think he realized the gold would happen, so he was just trying to get out of there. He tried to grab him down, and he's like, "Not today." So I don't even think he expected any of that to.
No.
He was ready to fight to the death.
He was, but I still don't see it as a victory. So I view this ending as great. You've given him a few years of prison time.
Yeah.
Right? And in the life of apparently an immortal, that's nothing. You've given him an annoyance for what would be the equivalent of us going into prison for torturous prison to Guantanamo Bay for a year.
Chop them up into little pieces and hide them.
Yeah, that's all you've done.
I don't know. I think it
takes away the victory for me, and I hate those endings.
Yeah, but also I think within the genre of it, adventure, pulp, even if you will, you got to kind of think that they've invested enough history between these characters, and that if he shows up, or if his hand, or a ring, or something of like, oh fuck, he's out there, or there's a piece of him, meaning that he could come back, is a nice little twist within the story, even though it can be cheap.
Yeah. But
I feel like the always resurrecting, always coming back sort of situation. I don't know. I think it sucks. I think if I could spoil a completely different movie, for everybody, are you okay if I spoil a completely different movie?
Sure.
All right, wonderful. Welcome back to Race by Spoilers, everybody. Werner Herzog's Dracula or Nosferatu is what I'm about to spoil. So if you haven't seen Werner Herzog's Nosferatu, get out now. And it was fun.
From the 1920s.
No. Herzog's was like 70 something.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's a very bleak, very, very bleak movie.
Okay, continue.
Nosferatu isn't necessarily Dracula as much as it's the disease.
Correct.
So like it ends And you're like, oh, fuck, we did it. The heroes did it. And then it's like, nah, dog, it's the disease. They're all still vampires. You
Yes.
killed Dracula, but they're all vampires still.
Yes.
And it's like, there's like an aha moment where
Never seen this movie. Thanks
the
for
Drac-
thanks
oh,
for
it's very
spoiling
good.
it.
It's very bleak. No, because it's one of those ones where you're like, you figure it out because it's Dracula. We all know the story. But just the shots that he sets up are so like empty. And you're like, oh, there's nothing. There is no help.
There's no
There is
victory.
no help. You're on the side of a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I think it
But
has
yeah.
a meaning to it, but I don't feel like they try and have a sense of victory, but they just they just don't give it to me.
Well,
Like
you also didn't fight him, and you're not a ninja girl.
that's true.
I'm so sorry.
If I was Ninja Girl, I also wouldn't have victory. 'cause
Yeah,
I'd
you'd be dead. You'd be dead.
So yeah, that's the plot effectively, which is weird because it comes off as a bunch of like what this gets insulted by. Is remember when we talked about Vampire Hunter D, where it's just a bunch of boss rooms while they're chasing
a spider castle.
Yeah, it's just a bunch
Yeah.
of boss rooms as they reach and try and find the vampire. This is no different. It's the exact same setup.
Yeah,
It's just not the love story is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it's the exact same style of boss fight after boss fight after boss fight. And I think it's weak on then there's like intermissions between those where they
It was
exposition.
It was originally storyboarded to be 2 45-minute movies.
Yes.
So that's why there's like 2 climaxes.
Yes.
hell yeah,
Oh yeah.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah, there were two
So
climaxes.
Hell
it
yeah.
has a good flow to it because instead of just leading everything up to the end, it kind of has that roller coaster like effect.
Yeah,
Yes. Which is weird because I knew that fact and I was going into this movie thinking, trying to feel those out, like where those moments would have been. And I couldn't put my finger on where's the second climax. Don't make the joke.
let's see, Adam. There's a snake,
Yeah.
and once you embrace, Thera's Dune.
No, but seriously.
Salsa Dune.
Salsa Dune. Where
Salsa
do
Dune.
you think the second climax would have been the cut? Like, hey, this is the end of this movie. This is a big deal.
I don't know. It just says there are climax scenes in the first and second half of the movie.
I just don't know
What
where
was
that
the
climax. I
first?
didn't feel it.
Maybe it was when he killed like the first like 4 demons,
Probably.
and then it took like a little bit of a break, and then he went after the other 4 like stronger ones.
Yeah,
No,
don't
because
know.
it would honestly be like the halfway point if it's 45 minutes because this is what roughly a 2 hour. No, not even.
It's
90
an
minute.
hour and a half.
Yeah, 90 minute.
I don't know either. I would say that the budget would be like saved for that big boat battle. And I would say, in a weird sort of sense, I would put it in between when Ninja Girl goes back to warn her shogun or her like
Yeah.
not emperor who would
His lord. Her
the Lord.
Her lord.
When she went to go back to inform the Lord of how devastating everything was happening, and he was just kind of like, bah, no big deal.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. And then it was there is no help. We can't trust these people
Yeah.
because they're not taking this seriously, and we're losing people.
I would say maybe it is like the bamboo scene, because like
That
Yeah.
was my guess.
Yeah.
Was right
Yeah.
after
like
the explosion.
the 4th
Yeah.
like person he kills, and then it's like, okay, let's do the other half.
Yeah, that's fair. That's good pacing too.
Like
'Cause
around the bamboo scene, the wasp scene, because it kind of all happened around the same time when he found the boat.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's where I would guess it to
Yeah.
be. But I still think it doesn't feel like a climax, but yeah, that's where I'd guess it to be.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Are you ready?
Climax. 2. There's 2 climaxes in this one.
Oh my god.
Sorry, everybody. Adam, let me ask you a really solid one.
Okay.
Does it hold up?
No.
Does this gem from
That one's what's year's that one from?
Is that
93?
the 2004 release?
The original movie's 93,
93.
but I think this is the year
95.
2000. I think the first DVD was put out in 2000. 2000
98?
Packing Design 2006.
6. Oh, okay.
Packing Design and Summary 1998.
Adam, this is looking pretty bootleg if you ask me. I don't know if it's legal. This
Well,
is a
the
legal
uncensored
copy.
version was put out in 2004.
Yeah, so this might be 2006. Yeah, that would make sense.
A relentless Japanese anime feast.
Yeah.
Wired.
I don't think it holds
Good
up.
Lord.
Mostly because we've seen this done way better.
Okay.
I think that's part of the deals. We've seen this entire type of movie, the beats, the style, everything done better. But I think it's important to recognize its its importance in the past. I think it's necessary to look at it and say, this is the shoulder that other giants stood on.
I believe that. I'll say it's curious, fantastic, mischievous,
Wayward?
unpredictable, and maybe wayward. No, I think the thing is, too, with this, and let me just piggyback off of that statement, was what I'm told as the authority on all things Japanese in the room. Manga has been happening for a very long time.
Yep.
Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Please jump in.
Yes.
So they just happened to get to this one first.
Yes.
And because they happened to get to this one first on what was on sale or what was selling well,
Yeah.
this is what got turned into a film.
Yep.
Or a show, depending on how it was presented, whether it was aired on TV or I couldn't see you actually going to a theater to watch this kind of thing in Japan. But I could see it being aired. That being said, that also is that sweet spot of like who got to what first. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's that weird like when did it all come out? When was it published? Vampire Hunter D, this, like all of this amazing I don't want to say nostalgia or heritage anime. What's a better way of putting it? It's not origin, it's
I would say it's the origin of Western anime.
right, but there's a sort of like scattershot of like everybody who writes a manga wants a show.
Yes.
Because
just like everyone who writes a book wants a movie or
because
a
then
series.
those mangas are going to sell even more and we can restart the process and we can make tons more money.
Yep.
I think this was also one of those ones where it was well known enough that it was going to get shopped around and shown like we did tonight.
Yep.
Where you're like, fuck, like this was a big deal.
Yep.
Right. Akira, I think, got a theater release at one point.
It did.
That's the difference between
Yes.
Ninja Scrolls and Akira.
way
versus,
later.
Right. But there was still this, it came over and people went to the movie theaters to see it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing because there was such hype around
Much
it.
the disdain of parents, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Kids
by the
didn't
time,
stop yelling.
to be fair, by the time Akira came out in the theaters, we were already like old teenagers. We were already probably like 18 or something like that. So at least I was.
Look up when Akira hit theaters, please.
I'm talking North America, by the way.
Okay.
I'm talking North America because it came out, but it wasn't in theaters when it first came out. And later on, when the special edition that I have came out, that's when it.
I thought it came out in theaters. I thought it had a very limited run and then it actually got released.
It might have had a limited run when it first came out, but that wasn't, back in the day of the internet, you didn't know about this.
Christmas 1989.
It came out in theaters?
Yep, and it grossed 2.2 million in the United States.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Get fucking dunked on. Weeb. Anyway, we're not doing Akira.
Yeah.
We're doing Ninja Scrolls. So, Adam, my personal, does it hold up? Does it not hold up? To piggyback off of your sentiment?
Yeah.
Simply is I think it is good, and I think that they got to it. This is one that sold well enough as a manga that they got to first.
Yep.
That they could animate and that they could take Kurosawa films or they could take other inspirations that guys that were working in this industry who were drawing chicks in bikinis or robot monkeys or whatever.
Yep.
A little bit more of a serious project.
Yes.
And putting together a little bit more of a serious studio this isn't their Oscar winner, but this is their art house film that they wanted to try to shop around in order to get bigger properties to make into shows.
That makes sense. It's very possible. But the important question is, does it hold up? Does it
Amanda.
hold up to this era?
I mean, it's still a very beautifully drawn and done anime. The music's great. Like I said earlier, when I was looking into it, the composer has done countless other animes, like, Inuyasha.
Classic.
Oh my goodness, where'd it go? Yeah, Kaoru Wada. He has done things like Inuyasha,
Battle Angel.
Samurai 7, D. Gray Man, Ace Attorney, the Yashahime, the sequel to Inuyasha.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done a lot of animes like throughout the years. So
Yeah, because he's tied to Madhouse.
yeah,
Sick. Well, that's, yeah.
But
Ton
does
of
it hold
Does
up?
it hold up?
Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, you're looking up. You're literally every time I
You
look
gave
over
me the computer.
Every time we look over, you are just looking at what Inuyasha fan fiction, or and it's like, can we please stick to the plot?
Oh, it's the plot. She's looking at the plot.
Oh,
It's just-
she's looking at it for the plot.
Yeah.
My God,
We haven't even met Koga yet.
I don't care.
I think the archaic tropes of using a woman in order to like either hurt the main character or to progress the main character's journey with making like female characters suffer, not so much.
Yeah, that's
Even though you still see that, but it's mostly in adaptations of older animes like Berserk, which I'm happy they're kind of getting away from that.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the only part of this that doesn't hold up.
Yes.
Is you don't get one scene, you get two.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, the first, like, you could have.
Yeah, you get 2 damsel scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not really needed. That second one was not needed. Actually, the first one wasn't needed. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only part of it that doesn't hold up. Everything else is pretty, like, decent considering the age of it and when it did come out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just that very.
So it doesn't hold up.
It doesn't hold up. The animation and the music hold up in a way, just for the time.
Okay.
If it got a remake now, it'd probably be really good.
No, it'd be like
Like a modern
CGI anime bullshit, and it
Oh
would look
my
awful.
God.
It probably would.
Yeah, it would look awful.
But if
I
it
wouldn't
was
want
done
it.
like Lotus, even though Lotus is an old one.
Yeah, Lotus
But
is
they
super
never fell into the tropes. So like that's how you it's not just the time, it's just that was what they decided to do.
But Lotus is based on all token tropes. Elves and
But
dwarves.
not
It's all
sexual
tropes.
violence.
Oh
It's
yeah, well
different
no, it's a
tropes.
completely different
That's
tropes
what I'm
within
saying.
that.
Like
Yeah.
Right.
they didn't need to include that. They just
It's
chose to.
Lotus worked on tropes that survived the test of time. This has
Exactly.
tropes that do not survive the test of
Exactly.
time.
So
Right.
it's like half and half.
That's fair.
But
Right.
it's a good example of anime from that time period.
Right. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think, women with snakes in their vaginas is a trope that should never go away, but that's
I mean,
just
your
my
tattoos
opinion.
are great.
That's just
though.
my opinion.
I will say.
I feel like the writing's a
Very
little
Japanese, like very, very.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? What's the not
The Yakuza.
the
like,
Yakuza, very
style.
Yakuza
Yeah.
style,
traditional sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's jump to eyebrows. And instead of eyebrows, we're going to do, actually, no, we are going to do eyebrows. I want to know who your favorite villain was out of all of the demons.
All the
I don't give a
demons.
fuck about the favorite special effects or eyebrows or any of that because that's not what this episode was about. Who was your favorite demon?
I actually very much liked what Yakuro, I think the last woman to survive, Zakuro. I really liked her outfit style.
Okay.
It was both a combination of sexy, but also that kind of like mysterious cool with the huge cloak and the
Yeah.
feathery cloak.
Yeah.
I thought that was just when she was wrapped in it, it was just you could see the silhouette of like the hat and
Love
like the
that.
feathers and
Yeah.
the cloak. I thought that looked really cool. And I think the way she handled like the way her powers worked and the way she handled the enemies was just demoralizing. And I think she was one of the most demonic of all the characters.
It was funny because dressed like a bird lady and her thing was explosives. I was honestly going to be like, oh, she's like the dagger woman. She just throws daggers that look like feathers.
No.
And we just got explosions.
Yeah.
So I was thrown off completely by that.
That's totally fair. But I think she was a really cool character, and I think her attitude, like she kind of showed that they were infighting.
Yeah.
And I feel like her attraction towards, I forget the other guy they do the wire, was not the same as Kagiro's attraction to Jubei. They
Right.
kind of mirrored that to a small degree. But I feel like it was more strategic on her part, right? Whereas Kagiro wanted someone to love. She wanted someone to play with.
Yeah.
And they just don't give it all. They make her act as kind of like, oh, you're throwing away goods. And she's just like, yeah, you're right. I'm throwing away goods, but so are you. I'm
We
like,
all are.
we all
Look
are.
around.
Here's a rat, motherfucker.
Right.
So
Well, she was just, it was her jealousy that fueled her and got her to the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think personally she was, Sakura was my favorite.
Cool. I liked Snake Lady.
Of course you did. Of course. You
I thought the tattoos were cool. I thought the shedding foreskin escape thing was neat.
did. Yeah.
You know,
The
busting out of that. I thought every time she was introduced, it was in a very like not revealing. I'm sorry. It was fine. She was naked half the time in the show, but it was just like, Oh no, my tattoos are loose. I wish
she
we
was
got.
naked the whole time.
Well, that's an interpretation because she's wearing a skin.
That's true.
So, right. Thank you very much.
Well, there's this scene where she comes out from the ceiling, and it's like
She's
her
a
face
face.
is made of snakes.
She's just a big face
Yeah.
snake.
yeah,
thing.
but it's not one big snake. It's like a swarm of snakes that
Yeah.
make up the shape of her face.
And that's why I think it's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's
I think it's pretty rad. I think it's a cool, like, gross thing. I think it's, yeah, it is what it is. My second place would have been the Hornet Boy, but I also think that scene just went on a little too long.
A little too long.
But I liked how he perished. Amanda,
I think
eyebrows.
if-
Who do you think was your favorite villain?
2 seconds. I think if you would have just let these demons kind of just be for like another like week, they all just would have killed each other.
On the
Because-
boat. They all would have killed each other on the boat.
Because Yurimaru killed her because he was jealous that he was Genma's, that she was sleeping with Genma.
I wouldn't doubt this. They would try and kill each other for
Yeah,
the gold
so even
and
if he
to
was
get the
like,
right
Yeah.
place.
he
Oh,
was
for sure.
together with both of them, but they hated each other.
Yeah.
And then they all just kind of like one big love triangle. Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny because they had the mirroring of the main characters who all sort of at least at the beginning hated each other.
Yeah.
And were forced to work together. It was just a funny little mirror there.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite?
Who's your
villain?
favorite?
I kind of like Mujuru, the swordsman,
The blind guy?
just
The
because
blind
he
dude?
didn't have any powers and he was holding his own up until then.
Okay.
Just with he was really good at hearing. I think that was a really cool scene too. It was probably one of my favorite scenes with like the bamboo forest and like her shooting the sword and blocking him and like screwing up his like hearing for a second.
Yeah, he made a noise.
Yeah.
She threw the thing so it made a noise in the bamboo, so it
Yeah.
distracted him for a moment, so Jubei could get the kill.
But
Yeah.
I feel bad for him because he didn't have any like beef with anybody else.
He seemed kind of cool. He seemed like he could have been a cool guy.
Yeah. I liked him the best. I think he was like the most probably like honorable out of all of them. He just kind of got caught up in a weird situation.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair. Very fair.
I like that.
I thought it was a weirdly timed fight where he just shows up and he's like, I've been waiting for you for 100 years. And it's like, what the fuck? Why? Why? And then it's just like, let's go. And you're like,
I don't even know who you are.
I don't know who you are. Well, I can't see you. Okay, shit. All right. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're going to end with Adam like we normally do every once in a while, but because he brought the movie. Amanda, keep the ball moving. You got good momentum. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? Give us your final thoughts and ratings, and let's end this.
You know what? I did end up liking it. Like I said, once I kind of figured out the plot of it, once I figured out the gist of what was happening, especially with his backstory and with Genma and everything going on, I'm like, oh, okay, everything just kind of like made sense. I want to say like after the second act, right?
Okay.
So it kind of grew on me after it got through all like the weird violent parts. Didn't last long. Happy about that.
Sure.
But yeah, overall the story was good. I just wish they gave Ninja Girl more to do as far as maybe coming out as her own and having like more battles and actually like if she would be the one to like kill Genma at the end somehow, or at least like kill one of them without assistance from like if she got herself out of a situation.
Yes.
Right.
Just to prove
Yes.
that
Yes.
her herself
100%.
is strong and can, she's not just she basically built herself up to be defensive so that if anybody did hurt her, at least they would die.
She's not just a ninja girl. She's a ninja woman.
Yes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if they actually used her name like Kaguro, like you are Kaguro more instead of ninja girl, ninja woman, isn't she so cute? Da da da. And it's like no, she's like her own character.
I think
Right.
they used Kaguro. I think the guys at the beginning used Kaguro, and then it was what's his name, Dakuan, who was being kind of ninja girl, and he's just the only one who really said people's names for the most part.
Well,
Yeah.
That's where we get it
because
from.
he was the guy in disguise.
Yeah, he was the
entire
only one
time.
I
Ooh.
think called her Ninja Girl. I think Jubei may have done it once before he knew her name, but he always called her Kaguro. I think Daquan was the only one who did it. It's just Daquan was always the one talking
Yeah.
and expositing data.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that was the problem, is it all came from one character. So you only got that one perception of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brutal.
But other than that, yeah, it grew on me. It took about halfway,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I need to like watch it again, but I am curious about checking out like the series that came out like the 10 years later
Okay.
to see like what they did with it, because I just looked up the plot. The plot is so different.
It's people aren't even sure whether it's a precursor to the story or post. They don't even know whether it's before or after. I think it's supposed to take place before.
Interesting.
If I can remember correctly.
Yeah, because there's no other. Oh, it does mention Dokugans in it,
Okay.
and it kind of mentions like some of the clans, but that's about it.
Okay.
Got it.
So,
So yeah, I would rate this one maybe. I don't know. It's tough. Maybe like a 6.5. Just for the fact it is
fair. That's fair.
old school, and some of the plot lines should kind of be like reworked, you know.
Okay.
But overall, like I said, I love the music. I love the animation style. But yeah, I would give like a strong like 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't my favorite, but I didn't hate it.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's yeah.
I think that's a fair rating.
Yeah. Go for it.
Ah!
Stop knocking down.
Stop knocking over your beer.
I gotta put the cord under the table because this one is fucking me up.
Yeah.
So,
Long pause. Lot of
fucking
thought.
Ninja Scroll. Fucking Ninja scrolling past this one, if you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, you're thinking real hard. There's
It's
a
a
lot of
6.
You know what? For all the talk of hating this so much, I'm amazed you're giving it a 6.
No, it's a
I think
6.
Oh no, only was it He-Man? I got a 4.
He-Man got a 4.
Yeah.
Disasters in the Universe got a 4.
Yeah.
This is a 6. It's watchable. It is very, very pretty at certain times. The plot itself completely lost me. I feel like the end is when they pretty much try to be clever and explain everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they would have just been like, boat crashed with gold on it, we got to fucking find it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily told until the priest can trust our main boy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is the mission we're on, and I need you to work for me. And this is why, because of the Empress or whatever kind of thing. And it would overthrow.
If they'd almost kept it simpler.
If they kept it simpler of, if the bad guys get the, we lost a ship with gold. And if word got out, the bad guys are going to get it. They're going to buy guns and they're going to overthrow the Empire.
Yeah.
And we need to find the ship and if not worse, find the gold or stop whoever's getting it.
Yeah.
And that is the plot of this movie. And there is the generals who are looking for it.
Yep.
And then they've got to kind of back and round fight each other until the big bad gets word that his generals are dying. And then he says the classic Master Shredder thing of, enough's enough, I'll handle it myself.
Yes.
And he reveals himself.
He stops petting his cat with his clawed hand.
Right.
Turns the chair around.
Give it to me. Give me the next time gadget.
Next time. I can't do it.
Oh.
Next time gadget.
There it is. I feel like it would have been a little bit more of a simpler story. I would have felt that it would have revealed all of the moving pieces up in the beginning instead of saying, well, there's a mystery.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck is the mystery? And then the mystery isn't really a mystery.
Yeah, it's kind of basic.
Because they say it in the beginning.
Yes.
Oh, why would someone poison a town? That's too far-fetched. And then they fucking poison the town and it's super far-fetched. And the lords in the area just don't really seem to give a fuck. So it all starts to kind of weirdly fall apart because they're trying to reveal but not reveal stuff. Because you can't really trust anyone in this world. I feel like I didn't get enough information about the characters that I was supposed to give a shit about.
Okay, that makes
They were
sense.
just throwing themselves into danger.
Yeah.
I love the idea of doing the right thing for not a lot of money.
Yep.
I love that trope, especially for role play or D&D or video games and stuff like that. I think the story itself works fun. A samurai or a ninja with a code, great trope. Loving that. But also his whole like, I've got a code kind of thing to help people. And then it shows how shady he is. Kind of throws that out the door.
Yes.
But it's a weird, like, if his whole thing was like, I don't kill.
Yeah.
And he was just beating up the horse thieves or the bandits and shit. I feel like that would have been a little bit like, he's the paladin.
And the one person he did kill turns out didn't actually kill.
Exactly. And that's where it's
Yeah.
like, ugh, right? Oh no, I'm faced with this conundrum. And I feel like that would have been slightly a not better story. I feel like it would have been a little bit simpler and a little easier to follow.
Yeah.
Overall, though, production wise, I think it's beautiful. I think it is a classic, not samurai, but ninja movie. I think it would have maybe even been better as a samurai movie.
Yeah.
Because that's when you would have had your paladin aspects of it.
Yep. The Bushido Code.
Bushido Code. I feel like the bad guys were cool, but they were cool for cool's sake.
Yep.
Hook, claw, this, that, right? All of these techniques and stuff was fine, but like if you're gonna lean into magic and like resurrections and shit, lean into it.
Yes.
Just lean into it. Lean into it. Hey, they've possessed by spirits, and this is what's happening, and we can't figure out how, and the government's trying to investigate. It's not necessarily so Full Metal as much as it's just this is happening, and they could completely overthrow everything.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It wasn't terrible. I was lost a couple times. I made a few jokes throughout it, which was fine. But like realistically, I didn't love it, but I also didn't hate it. So that's where it kind of lands as a 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I respect it, and I definitely see why. I'm happy I watched it.
Okay.
I'm happy I watched it. I don't feel like it was a waste of time in any way.
I find that so strange just because like you're just bashed on this the whole time. And then you come out and you're like, it's a 6.
I've never seen it before. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, realistically, like
You came on hard.
It's not that
you're
I
like, fuck this, let's get this over with anime. Let's do this.
I fucking hate anime. I like, if it doesn't hook me, I'm out. And that's why also I think like subs and dubs, if it's dubbed and I'm not hooked by what's going on, I have a harder time paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I'm just kind of like, I'm on my phone. I'm like, fuck, okay,
No,
right?
We all do.
Oh, we all do? That's just a normal thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was
yeah.
the ADD brain.
You mean times I've rewound shows because I'm like, oh, what just happened?
That was a plot point. Oh, it's 2 episodes back.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't hate it. I want to say the world didn't give me enough for me to grab.
Yep. That's fair.
And I think that is the biggest sin for Ninja Scroll. It's beautiful, but it doesn't give you enough to grab onto to be like, wow, this is happening and this guy can't get away.
If it was a series, or like you said, even if a couple ovas, like if
yeah,
we
3
had,
OVAs.
Yeah.
Needs 3 OVAs.
Yeah. That makes
just
sense.
to really get into it. But I don't know if he had that much.
No.
Well, I think they were trying to make it a full feature because they really wanted to make this this even for Japan, like they were like, hey, this is one of our adult things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of OVAs were, even for them, were a lot of children stuff. You know, anime, even for them, was a lot of children.
Yeah.
It was things like Gundam and like the original Gundam and this that sort of brought, even in Japan, anime to, I don't want to say more adulthood, but allowed this to happen because a lot of it was meant for the children, and those children who liked Astro Boy grew up to make this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get that. Definitely get that. Cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Adam, let's throw it to you before we end the show.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely something to be said for the history of this guy, and not just of the show, but the animation house, Madhouse, the director has touched so many things.
He's touched a lot.
He's touched a lot of wayward ninja girls, and like he's done things like he did the entrance. He directed the opening theme to the Spawn HBO series.
Did he?
He did.
Dope.
Yeah,
I know they worked on the second season, I think.
it's possible. Yeah, I think they did. He originally did the entrance, which is probably why he got moved on to the second season.
Can I just say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
When we were watching it, it took me so much not to be like Dakugan would be the stupid clown from Spawn if he talked in a New York accent. Because he's like, a few times he would be like, oh man, my buddy, bro. And it's like, he is so close to being like, Spawn, come on.
Spawn.
Hold up. Spawn didn't have an animated intro.
I'm sure it did. It says
No, the movie or the shows would start with Todd McFarlane talking in a basement and then doing like a monologue.
It had an intro. I'm pretty sure. We'll have to look it up, but it had an intro. I remember having an intro.
It was Todd McFarlane in a basement, or he was in a castle. And there
Maybe
was
the
a bunch
version
of,
we watched, it was like that.
maybe
I remember
there's
it
two
having
versions.
an intro.
Because we got Todd McFarlane being all spooky.
I got him in the
I think
basement.
Was that
and
the DVD version or
no,
something?
it was on like HBO. We watched it right on HBO.
Weird.
It's Todd in his basement being like, "Would you ever make a deal with the devil?" And then it's like really weird bullshit. Like he tries to.
I don't remember.
I don't want to say Gene Roddenberry it, but he tries to
like a
Twilight.
Jerry,
He
like
tries to Twilight Zone it.
Oh,
he
yeah,
asks
yeah,
like
yeah.
a religious question. You see like Todd's toys, or you see like the Death Dealer's helmet, or like a monkey's paw shit, and then it
Interesting.
cuts to credits and then thing. But yeah, it might. Oh shit.
Well, we'll take a look at it.
All right.
afterwards,
Anyway,
yeah.
keep going. I
We'll
guess
take-
I'm wrong.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it afterwards. So this director did like Wicked City. He directed and storyboard and wrote Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which is famous. He was a big part of Animatrix. So I think it would be an insult to really, say that this was the stepping stone. This is one of the earlier movies that this guy worked on. And I think it was definitely the movie that put him on the board, put him famous, made Madhouse famous. However,
Absolutely.
I think the benefit of time is that, especially with anime and a lot of movies, you can take these great stepping stones. I've mentioned standing on the shoulders of giants quite often. And this movie is definitely not as good as, like, this and Blue-Eyed Samurai. You wouldn't have a Blue-Eyed Samurai if you didn't have certain things like this.
100%.
But yeah, I think Blue-Eyed Samurai is way better than this.
Sure.
By a mile.
But it's inspired by.
But it's inspired by
Right.
this. So I think I like to take movies at their face value of how they hold up and how we come to this. I think its legacy is, a 10 out of 10. However, I think the movie itself, I'm going to agree with you guys, 6 at top, 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I get voted out at this time. It's a 6.5, I guess.
Yeah, I honestly, I know. I think I'm going to say 6. I think
Too late. You've already
it's too
pulled
late.
the
I've
trigger.
committed. No, I think it's closer to a 6
6.25.
to a 6 to a 6.5. It's like
That's fair.
6.2 type of thing. But I think I'll just say 6 to round it and make it easy on us. Because yeah,
But
you're
it
right.
doesn't, because she said. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah,
keep
fair
going.
enough. I think it was beautiful animation wise. I think the sound quality was probably just an error of its time.
Yeah.
The dubbing is poor.
Hit or miss, eh?
Yeah, hit or miss.
I would be curious to at least like look up and see how the Japanese sounds. Obviously, it's gonna be better.
It is better, yeah.
Okay,
And then
sorry,
also,
guys.
I think some of the audio mixing is not that great. There's some things that are really loud, some things that are really quiet. But I think that's just an error of its time. And then you take all that together and you make this, again, it's fairly simple plot, yet it feels like you can't follow a simple
They
goddamn
overcomplicate it.
plot. Yeah,
They
they overcomplicate.
they overcomplicate
a simple
it.
fucking plot.
Yeah.
And you're asking for this, what is a simple plot to be made simpler because they just exposit it so poorly.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
And I think you're paying attention more to the cool villains
Yes.
than why the villains are doing the
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
And that's where you get
They
lost.
overshadow the main character story.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a loss because to me, movies are about the people. It's about the stories. It's about character growth and evolution and character and human experiences.
Yeah.
And I think this is really just a glorified, this feels like a child taking 2 anime action figures and going, duh, this one shoots, throws a boomerang thing and it comes back. I don't feel like it's a proper movie with real characters. I feel like it's cool action scene after cool action scene.
Yeah. Kids hitting each other with foam swords.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way.
So yeah, that's why I give it the 6. I think that's a fair.
That's totally fair. So, Ninja Scroll, ladies and gentlemen, 6.5, depending on where you land. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a thumbs up if you would. That would be wonderful. We are Raised by Spoilers. You can find us all over the internet at RBS Pod. I am a Geek Movie House.
Nintendo Geek.
Adam?
And as always, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.